today we have such an amazing guest. I know you guys are going to get sick of us saying that because it's true every week. We have with us Todd Stashwick, aka Captain Liam Shaw, on season 3 of Picard. And Bob, what a cool guy and what a great conversation.
I can't wait for everyone to hear this one because it's so insightful, so much fun. We just had a fun time recording our interview with Todd Stashwick, and not just because of his nerd lair behind him. He's so funny and interesting, and he's got such a varied background from Second City and improv to sitcoms, things like that, and to heavily dramatic roles, sci-fi, and everything in between. And just so entertaining. I just want to sit and listen to him as he holds court. I just want to go to his house and eavesdrop on all of his conversations.
And now it is time for us to turn to the just incredible on every level interview with the great Todd Stashwick. Enjoy.
Incoming transmission.
Politics. Not good at politics. Surely there are others who are better suited.
Trek Politics with Mary L. Trump and Bob Cesca.
You have a bird. Well, hang on.
Oh yeah, that's Sebastian.
We don't just move past a bird.
Oh, he's flirting.
As long as you know it's there. As long as you know it's there.
Oh wait,
Okay.
there's a bird.
Yeah, Sebastian's part of the show. Yeah. Mm-hmm. He'll have some questions for you later, Todd. That's the exciting part of the show when Sebastian starts asking questions.
When we freeform with the parrot. You know.
Oh wait, I have a bird and you have a Pac-Man. Come on.
Yeah, I keep it off so as to not distract you.
Bob, I don't know about you. I don't know where to start because I've been thanks to you, I've been rewatching Picard season 3. What a shame.
Oh, nice.
What a drag. What a job.
Wow, work.
And I've been I started watching 12 Monkeys after we talked with Terry because I'm ashamed to say I'd never heard of it.
No. You're not alone, and we're just thrilled that people, because of Picard, are discovering 12 Monkeys.
It's so good.
So good.
Wow.
And I don't know if you could tell, but I'm a nerd. And
I've heard rumors about that, actually.
And it's one of those shows that I would have been addicted to had I not been on it. And so it's just such a thrill to actually have part of that be part of my life.
Is that how you guys met?
That's how Terry and I met. Yeah. And it was we were sitting there in Washington with all of the, after the panel that was just tons of people and really amazing and kind. And we were like from that first day that I walked into the audition for 12 Monkeys, we were like, could you imagine if we would cut to us being in Washington State in front of people dressed as Vulcans? We would have gone, yeah, right. Sure. Yeah, that's going to happen. But yeah, we met at the audition for 12 Monkeys.
Look what you have wrought, and what you have wrought. I mean, Bob and I have been talking about this since season 3 started. I waited to watch until all of the episodes were out.
Were you spoiler freed?
I was. I did a really good job of avoiding spoilers. Nice. But Bob and I were talking, and he brought up your character, your phenomenal character, Captain William Shaw. And I hadn't watched it yet, so in my defense, because we were talking about the potential for legacy, hopefully the next series. I was like, well, let's make 7 captain and get rid of Shaw. So forgive me, but
you had amazing foresight.
I saw it but I also changed my mind. That is one of the best, most beautifully wrought and phenomenally acted, I have to say, characters in forever in Star Trek. I mean, seriously, wow. Bob and I are just blown away. And so there are a couple of things we want to talk about, and we can start anywhere. But one is, as Bob knows, I'm obsessed with the whole insubordination theme in Star Trek, starting from the original series. Yeah. So there's that. And there's also the stunning beauty of negative chemistry. When you have two actors who have chemistry, but whose characters hate each other, it is, or it at least always
it's the
locking horns.
moonlighting of it all.
Well, just because it was Todd, it was really amazing to see a character who kind of just, is right in your face from the very beginning with his contempt for these legends.
Yeah.
And he's totally right about his reasons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you want to talk a little bit about what it was like to play that when you're actually in the room with the legends? And how it looked like it must have been really fun.
So much fun. I have this kind of playful relationship with the Trek fans when they come to the table because every time, I'm going to say 98% of the time, they come up to the table and they go, "We hated you at first." And then I'm like, it's clockwork. And so my new game is, I'm like, what did you hate about him? That he was right?
Yep.
Did you hate the fact that I go, put the shoe on the other foot? You're watching an episode of TNG. Two admirals or senior officers come in without orders and tell Picard, "We're taking your ship." And he would go, "What?" He would say, "What? No." And then what if Riker completely disobeyed Picard's order and took the ship anyway? What would Picard do? And so I go, so what you hated about him is that he was snippy to your legends.
That's right.
That's what you hated about him. But he was absolutely being a really good captain. So it's a fascinating dichotomy. Now, his presentation was brusque, and his presentation was certainly sarcastic and rude and passive aggressive and openly aggressive and all of that. The shooting of it was a hoot and a half because I had worked with Frakes on Burn Notice and Leverage, so we had already had a wonderful working relationship, and I've been fortunate to be his actor, and Terry and I obviously for 4 seasons, 12 Monkeys. So it was not a cold set that I was walking onto, and so it was a very warmly received, and as you guys saw, Jerry's a laugher and I'm a clown, so that is a very symbiotic relationship. Like clowns need laughers. So that was actually the first scene I shot with Jerry. And I had done, I think, some stuff on the bridge with Picard and Riker. And also, Patrick's a joker. So he's a joker and he loves acting. He loves doing scenes. He loves getting into it. He loves the push. He wants to be surprised in the scene, to react to new things. He wants that. And so that scene was so fun. And I think from the previous scene that I had shot on the bridge and sort of established kind of what I thought and what I wanted to do with this guy, I remember doing something and sort of trying it in my voice, and Terry looking over and going, 100% that for the entire season. Go nice. There with the guy. And so me doing that, and it's very scene chewy, and he's very melodramatic, even in a quiet way. But the dinner scene and the saying no scene, they wrote me a meal, no pun intended. And then they the directors gave me room to do it. So it was just the stuff you wish for as an actor.
What was the green meat that you were forced to eat? It was green, right?
Space meat, Bob. It was blue and it was space meat.
Oh, okay.
And
that's
vegan.
it.
And vegan.
It was vegan.
So
It was vegan space meat.
Also known as Jell-O.
It was not Jell-O, which isn't vegan. I know. It was it's space meat, Bob. I don't know where in space they got it, but it's from space.
I imagine though
Earth.
something like that, whatever it is, whatever thing they put in it to turn it green. Didn't it turn your mouth green? I mean, that was the first thing I would have thought of.
It did not. Whatever space beast they slayed, it does not. It did not stain my teeth or nothing. As I'm washing it back with Malbec.
Vulcan kelp or something. Yes, it's the Malbec. Yeah. And we knew we were in for a treat when they walk in. Are we late? Like, no, your reputation so far preceded you into the room that I started early.
My buddy Chris Monfett, he's one of the writers. He was a writer for 12 Monkeys, and so these guys know exactly the kind of lines to throw me. And he's such a lyricist with his writing. I can always tell a Monfett line because there are these lovely crafted little playful bon mots, as they say. Yeah.
So at some point, you probably saw online that fans really embraced your character. Initially, as you were describing, we hate this guy. But then after a couple more episodes, holy crap, everyone wants more Captain Shaw. And so at some point you're going, we talked with Terry about this too. At some point you got to be going, oh, well, spoiler, by the way, they kill me. Oh my God, what am I going to do now?
Well, look, you never know how people are going to respond. And we shot it a year out, right? We knew that there was going to be a turn to the character. And so, we knew that the work was, it was easy to get them to hate me, but the work was to get them to suddenly see his side and hopefully empathize with the guy. And so that, that you lean into the humor, you lean into the pathos, and that hopefully gets the audience to get him. You never know what's going to become memes. Like, it's not a thing that you can plan. I think if I was, to psychoanalyze at all why they responded to him, other than my devastatingly green eyes, that
matched the space beat.
It was blue. No, I kid, I play. I'm kid and play. I think when viewers have a change of heart about something, there is far more investment.
Yeah.
When they have a catharsis about a character, there is a far greater investment and agency. Like they feel there's an ownership then. It's like, you moved and changed my mind, therefore I'm on your team. And I think that's a powerful thing. We love to see characters that we go, no, like, now I'm rooting for you. When Han Solo comes flying in at the end and says, "You're all clear, kid," boom, he's ours for the rest of our days. So to answer your second question, which was when he died, like, what do we do about that? I said to Terry, because we started to get worried, like, are we going to get like anger from people because we know it was like the monster at the end of the book. We know it's coming in like 3 episodes. And so I said, well, let's just make an in memoriam video and show Spock and Data and Picard and Shaw, because there's dead and then there's Star Trek dead.
But, I mean, I don't know if you saw this on Twitter, but there's already like this armed rebellion saying that if Captain Shaw isn't resurrected for Legacy, there's going to be a problem.
Yeah, it was like Tyrion Lannister. If they killed Peter Dinklage in Game of Thrones, I was going to stop watching that show. And thank God they never did. But, Todd, you have this thing, this X factor, where your characters are funny, but also like dark, unstable, and kind of ready to snap at any minute. I think Captain Shaw is kind of like that way.
I play broken men. Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's one of the first things I noticed about Dale Malloy, your character in The Riches. And that was one of those things where when I first saw you on screen in Picard, I did that Leonardo DiCaprio gif, that meme with him pointing at doing that thing, because I said, oh my God, that's Dale Malloy from The Riches, which was my favorite show when that came out.
was
It
a
was
good
so
one.
special and unique. But you have this thing where you were sinister, but also an awkward goofball at the same time. Like I remember one scene where Dale Malloy is laying in bed and he's got a prosthetic arm and he's like demonstrating how he might,
Caitlin,
pleasure himself with the prosthetic.
It's a living, Bob. It's a living.
Gonna have to check that out.
Someone has to. It's funny to that. Some of the strangest responses that I've ever gotten from fans of shows. Someone said, "I felt so bad for you when you were killing your father."
Yeah.
And it was like, because there's this scene, again, spoilers, 13 years later, there's a scene where I'm carrying my father, Red West, by the way, one of Elvis's right hands, part of the Memphis Mafia.
That's right, yeah.
But I'm carrying him to leave him to die in the forest, and he will suffocate without his oxygen tank. But I have this very heartfelt monologue that I'm weeping my way through. But I'm getting rid of him so that I can take over the family in that mafia sort of way. But they're like, "We felt so bad for you when you were killing your dad." Like,
That's a very Greek tragedy.
I'm like, security. It's like, who do you talk to when yeah, I mean, it's a compliment because to what you're saying is people have enjoyed the whether it's goofballness or sarcasm or something of that I'm doing over here. Meanwhile, my character is a sociopath and cutting into Aaron Stanford's chest. It's a wheelhouse.
It is. Captain Shaw's not a sociopath. He's
not.
He has, as you
actually
say,
not.
broken.
He's broken.
And one of the challenging parts as a viewer, because he ends up. I think he starts out being sympathetic because I'm totally on board with the whole insurrection, not such a great idea thing. And if you think about, as you put it, if you think about it being other characters, having it be done to Picard or Riker or Kirk or Spock, it shines a whole new light on it. But also, if you think about what's at stake versus what's being risked, what it's being risked for, it also doesn't make any sense. Especially if we saw the second Star Trek movie. So one thing about Shaw, though, that was a little bit hard or kind of really difficult to get over was his racism towards Seven. That was a real challenge. How was that to play? How was that to? And I get where we come to understand deeply what it comes from, but it also seems really personal. So I was curious what that arc was like for you guys.
Well, it's interesting because fundamentally, and I think you went over a bit of this with Jerry as well, because I'm a listener, longtime fan, first time caller.
That's that's going to carry me. You saying that is going to carry me for the next 5 months of shows.
Because Bob's a radio guy.
That's why I'm here. That's why I'm here, Bob. So it's interesting with the Borg because they traditionally are villains in Star Trek. And so to say to the analogous, and it's what Star Trek does great. It's not quite racism when you go, these people were committing genocide. This race of aliens were committing genocide.
Yes.
And so, and obliterated 11,000 people in a day.
Good point.
From Starfleet. And so his pain is understandable.
Right.
That being said, what Seven is not accountable to what the people that kidnapped her. It's a bit of that, like she was pulled into against her will and forced to be this thing, and
as was Picard.
As was Picard.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to just put that right here. Now, she has owned her Borgness, and she is not ashamed of the life that she has right now. And so, it is interesting that that this is the part of him that he cannot abide in her, is the part that is the very center of his complex trauma. So he sort of walls it off by saying, I see all of your worth, but I cannot call you 7 of 9. That for him was a bridge too far. But there was an immersion therapy there with him choosing her as his first officer.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So he's obviously working on himself, baby stepping his way through his journey and going, instead of going, no, absolutely not, I will not have a former Borg serve on my ship. He was like, no, she brings a lot of that fire that he won't allow himself to have because of his experiences, but recognizes that's necessary on your bridge. You need a dissenting voice on your bridge. You need someone who isn't just going to just bow to your wishes at all time and be that, hang on, let's look at this situation. And we watch him take her advice. So the disrespecting of 7 in that area is only a part of their relationship. He's hard on her, as a captain may often be on their first officer, but he's hard on her not because she's a Borg.
Right. Well, I think that's a really good corrective, and I'm glad you said that, because it's not racism. The Borg are more powerful, and
the Borg technically aren't a race.
Exactly. And they're assimilators.
They're a collective. Yeah.
And they have destroyed millions of lives.
They're almost a virus.
It's the ways in which
that's a great way to look at it. Yeah.
That's a really good way of looking at it. He identifies those two characters, Picard and 7, with the Borg.
Yes.
So,
yes,
but the other reason it's an important distinction is because you look at how Vulcans get treated throughout the course.
Green blood, pointy eared, yeah.
Totally different issue entirely.
Yeah, no, and you're 100% on the money. I mean, but again, that's what Trek does great. It's like you take on these complexities and you take on these issues, but you take them on from the side. So if, say, the trans community connects to the issue with Shaw and 7 as a dead naming issue, then great.
Yep.
You should not like him for doing this.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You should. He's wrong. He's wrong. And we come to see him evolve.
Yeah.
It's interesting. People call it a redemption arc, but he is a good captain.
Yeah.
He is a good captain. He is a good captain. So is it a redemption or is it an evolution of a man? Like, he's a man, and people, a lot of people in the community, the LGBTQ community, have said to me, he's an important character to show that building a wall between people who are disrespecting you, it's better to go leave room for them to evolve. Don't abide them. Let them know what they're doing is wrong, but they aren't just one thing, because Shaw was a lot of other things than just that issue.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's also fair to say that it's an evolution of the viewer's perception and understanding of the character.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one of the reasons it works so beautifully, because we had those two things happening in parallel.
Yeah. And my guess is there are people who are huge Star Trek fans that dead name. And suddenly they may have liked Shaw and then suddenly watch him evolve and go, oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Maybe I can. Maybe it is a bit of that, again, like Trek consistently being a mirror to society. I was talking because Walter Koenig is my neighbor, and so we've had these conversations about how during the Cold War you had a Russian on the bridge. During the high racial tensions, you had an African American woman on the bridge. And then the mortal enemy of those seasons were the Klingons. Then you get to Next Gen, you have a Klingon on the bridge. Then the mortal enemy of Next Gen are the Borg. Then we have a Borg as a first officer. So this is showing the way.
Yeah. And Picard having a relationship with Romulan. Yes, it's like we're
So
getting
good.
there.
So good.
So the Wolf 359 speech.
Never heard of it.
So first of all, that's got to be at the top of your highlight reel. Like that's got to be something that you, oh my God, get me a tape of that. I'm going to include that right at the top. But it's easily one of the biggest highlights of season 3. How did you prepare for that monologue? Did anything special go into sort of getting into the skin of someone who has experienced this immense amount of trauma, which even so many years later has informed his worldview?
It's interesting because I think he hadn't. I mean, other than probably when he closes his eyes, I think so much as in his life. I mean, he has ascended rank. Whoa, hang on. I just lost you guys for a second because when my phone rings, it knocks you guys off. Yeah, see how good we said? Yeah. What's interesting is so much has happened in his life. I mean, he's risen through the ranks. He's been on the Titan for 5 years. Frakes and I continue to have a fight over whose ship it is.
I saw that. That's so cool.
Yeah, we continue. But I want to posit to him. I'm like, well, if it was your ship, why'd you have to ask permission to take it? So he's risen in ranks, and I think coming face to face with Picard, which I don't think he's ever seen him face to face. That's what brought it all. That's what brought the trauma to the present. And again, that's what grief is. That's what trauma is when it's brought to the surface. It's happening again for you right now.
Yeah.
Preparation. Well, I rewatched Best of Both Worlds Part 1 and 2 so that I knew what was going on outside the window. And then it's all that, it's the sausage factory of it all. Like, it's all what I have to do is recreate what I am seeing, watching, and doing. I have to see my engine room going berserk and things exploding. I have to see my friends and pick faces of my friends and watch us running down to the shuttle bay, watching people dead, watching us maybe being Borg walking through the hallways. I have to recreate all that so that when I'm talking about it, I have images that I am thinking about.
Yeah.
When I'm retelling the story, because again, it's like, I tell you about the story about where I was when my father died. I know what the room looked like. I know what the phone call looked like. I know what, you know what I mean? Like that stuff sticks with you. It becomes dog-eared in your memory. So I had to build all of that for myself so that I can recreate it. Because images lead to thoughts, because you have opinions about images. Thoughts lead to emotions, right? So that's kind of what I did. And then I just get out of the way of the amazing words that Sean Tretta and Terry wrote. And then I do it. And then I look in the eyes of Patrick and I look in the eyes of Ed. And then you get the rest of the scene from them because they're giving me everything. And then Frakes, I've talked about this. He would let me reset the whole monologue from the beginning every time. So when we change cameras, when we would do push-ins, when he would have an adjustment, like try this hotter, try that, blah, blah, blah. He never made me come in the middle of it.
Wow.
He would always allow me to start the story over so that I never had to come in hot. I could just live through it all every time.
Oh, that's incredible.
It's not like putting hammer to a nail. You kind of need this thing to feed into that thing. It's like the old Trey Parker philosophy with writing.
Therefore,
two things can't be, therefore and exactly right. And so you need that build.
Yeah, it was a special day. It was a special day. I mean, I can't treat it like any other day at work, other than because you don't want to, like, what's the Neil Gaiman says, just don't look down. Like if I thought of the gravity of, like, I'm sitting here and I'm doing a scene and I'm about one of the most famous Star Trek two-parters in history.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm here with Jean-Luc Picard himself and his son, and over here is number one behind the camera. Like, one could crumble under the nerd reality of that all.
Yeah.
And so you just got to not look down, and you just have to trust the process and the 30 years of being in the industry, and do your thing. And then, afterwards, if this is a humble brag, but after we did the scene, Patrick walks over and, puts his hand on my arm and squeezes it, and he goes, "So fucking good."
Oh my God.
I can retire. I can retire.
I just got chills, man.
I'm done. I can retire. Yeah, it was
Wow.
like, every once in a while you get these moments in your career, and they fuel you. They fuel you. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like when that guy Todd Stashwick said on our show that he's a listener to our show. Oh wait, that's you, and you listen, and that's, I swear to God, that's going to fuel me for years. So
Said it in front of a Pac-Man machine and Mego action figures.
Hey.
We're from the
That
same
makes it
planet,
better,
for sure.
actually. That makes it much better.
Right.
So along those lines, though, Todd, that scene where Shaw meets Geordi was one of my favorites of the entire season, where suddenly Shaw is befuddled and nervous and intimidated. I get the sense that in real life, you don't easily get intimidated on set.
It's called acting, Bob. It's funny because I had like I said, by the time we got to that scene, I had already been on the show working for a while before LeVar folded in, and such a lovely human who I've has been in my life since Roots,
Totally.
like, and Reading Rainbow and blah blah blah. I mean, he's LeVar Burton, but I'd also known his daughter through the D&D world. Mika, she's a big Dungeons and Dragons player, and so it was like meeting your friend's dad, but who also happens to be LeVar Burton. So it was great to meet him, and everybody's just so wonderful and warm and professional, and so what was fun about that? A lot of fans were like, "You must have been fanboying." I'm like, by the time, like, again, we were all actors making this show, right? And so it was just really cool to get a cool scene with LeVar, because I had cool scenes with Frakes and Jerry, and so this was my first time of really getting to have a little scene with LeVar, and we're like, well, let's play this, let's have fun with this, and it was such a different color for Shaw that it was like, oh great, now I get to genuinely kind of be a bit of a clown, because Shaw is so kind of unimpressed with so much that to now get to go, oh, he's also this. He's not just that. He's not just the we're practically a hotel now guy. He likes things. He likes exploring. He chose to be an explorer, right? But that scene, so the story of that scene was us doing the scene, and so we did a rehearsal of it, and I think the original line was, he says, he's like, "You're this or subpar," blah, 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 and the whole place is held together by duct tape, blah, blah, blah. And after I had complimented him, he sort of read me the laundry list of how awful the state of my ship is in, and then my initial response on the page was something like "touche," and I was like, that doesn't track, because touche is usually, I insulted you, you insult me back. And so I pitched to Terry, I said, what if I said, to apologize for how awful my ship is, what if I said, it's been a weird week?
Yeah.
That's a great
And
line.
Terry's like, yes, say that. And then I remember saying it, and then on one of the takes, I just kept backing up until I intentionally like banged into the railing, like it just sort of like, just stupidly, like a clown, and I banged into the railing, and then LeVar goes, "Did you just bang into the furniture?" I said, "Yeah." He goes, "You are shameless." I said, "Yeah, no lies detected." And then it was as we were going through that scene, Terry was like, "We have to cut to Jerry and Patrick being like, who is that guy? Like, we've not seen that Shaw." So all of that was discovered. On the day. So it was a delight.
it was an important part of what you were saying before, the redemption arc. It really, I think, endeared everyone to Shaw on a level that hadn't been experienced up to that point.
Well, it was also, again, is the redemption for him or was it for the audience? Are they the ones that have to have the change of heart? Because he always respected her. If you watch the hologram at the end of the show, he always respected Jerry. So he wasn't redeemed in his belief in 7 of 9, and he always loved Geordi. He was very excited to meet Geordi. Geordi was a legend. It's the audience coming along for the ride and having a change of heart to watch sides of the man be revealed. Yeah, and then and the evolution of him. But I redemption to me often is attached to a villainous role, and he's not a villain.
Yeah, I agree. I think that this is potentially a mirror for our experience when new iterations of Star Trek come out. When Shaw is introduced, he's experiencing hostility. He gets a lot of hostility from the people he's surrounded by. And, some of it makes sense. Some of it we don't know why yet. But the people who are being hostile are people we already know and trust. So just much like, what Patrick Stewart and Jonathan Frakes and all those guys had to do starting Next Generation in the shadow of Nimoy. And I mean, it's almost similar. Like you have to
earn their trust.
Exactly.
And when you meet a character as auspiciously as the way you meet Shaw, it's fun to go, I don't like him. Because I'm eliciting an emotion, what we used to say, a groan is as good as a laugh when we were at Second City. I'm still getting a rise out of you, one way or the other. And the fun of, Terry and I knowing where this guy's going, knowing what's coming, to go, just wait. And so we were on pins and needles the night before the Wolf 359 speech was going to drop. And so the night before we were like, it's going to be interesting to see when that the sea change happens in people's hearts for this guy. And still be pissed at him for dead naming.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is complicated and complex and interesting because, again, I don't ever want my characters to just be one thing.
Yeah, and then there's the other dimension, too, where apparently Terry told us that this is a running gag, but he beat the living shit out of you throughout the course of the season. Compound fracture
two different shows. 2 different shows.
That's right. 12 Monkeys, you get the crap beat out of you.
It was a running joke that I would turn a page when I'd get a new script and it was like, and Deacon has his eye swollen shut. I think Terry has a beef against my depth perception.
Are you okay with the makeup? Do you like the makeup? Is that maybe part of it too? You just I don't imagine so.
I don't mind having that. So, quick story. You'll get to I don't want to spoil it too much, but there's a scene in 12 Monkeys where my character has been badly attacked. Boom! I'm covered in cuts and blood. I'm shirtless. I have been preparing literally for this section of the episode for season 3. I had gone into training to get into a certain physical condition, blah, blah, blah. And we waited and waited and waited. And we finally get to shoot this scene. And I'm going to throw Chris Monfett under the bus here. My eyes swollen shut and I'm all cut up and I'm covered in Caro syrup. And we're lying there and it's like 1:00 in the morning. This is going to be my first day back. And I have been like, on a very restricted diet, blah, blah, blah. And we're lying there and we're waiting and I'm waiting. And then Chris walks in and he looks at a light. He's like, hey, we need to change that. All right. Ladders come in, flags come in, blah, 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 blah. And then I'm waiting. And they go, we're calling the night.
Oh, Jesus.
We didn't shoot anything. We didn't shoot anything.
That sounds like a practical joke.
At 1:30, I was being punked. At 1:30 in the morning, I now have to go get it all off and wash off and get all the prosthetics off. So I have another hour of breakdown, and then know that we're probably not going to get back to the scene for a month because of locations and stuff.
Oh.
It's like, oh my God, I got to have my eyes fully shut again.
Sounds personal.
I remember the first time there's a scene where I'm sort of set up by this character, the foreman, where Aaron Stanford's character is basically trying to leave me for dead because I wasn't very nice.
No.
But I come limping back just again and makeup bloodied me up. And I go, it's not enough blood. And they're like, no, you're coated. I go, Terry's going to want more blood. And they're like, no, you're coated. And I'm like, okay, trust me. And then they march me in front of Terry, and he goes, I totally need more blood. Where's the thing? And then they hand him this thing that looks like a ketchup dispenser, and like he just frosts me like a cake. And I'm like, and the whole time my one good eye is just looking at the makeup head, and I'm like, yeah, I told you. Yeah.
Oh, that's so great.
It's a fetish of his. He's really into seeing me in
I was
red.
thinking, were you especially mean to him one time as Dungeon Master? I mean, what?
No, this was long before that. He just, I think it's the kind of character that I play. People like, it's like Indiana Jones. I'm comparing myself to Harrison Ford because we were born in the same hospital. And the comparisons,
awesome.
they don't end there. But I think the joy of knocking guys like me down is watching them get back up.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's Indiana Jones. We love to watch his knees buckle and he goes to the ground and then all beat up and bruised, watching them stand up. That's why we love them. Not because they're lantern jawed and they can, they're two-fisted. It's the ability to get knocked down and get back up again.
And there's something also that's really dramatic about someone who has a certain level of confidence getting the shit kicked out of them on screen. And
it's certainly great dramatic tension, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And one of the things I think of wasn't necessarily Indiana Jones, but I went to Han Solo in Empire Strikes Back, where he gets the crap kicked out of him at the end of that movie, and it continues into the next movie. And
they didn't even ask me questions.
Exactly. There's such a contrast there between this cocky, self-assured guy, and then suddenly he's in a situation that he can't talk his way out of.
And
it's
waylaid.
incredible. Yeah.
Plus, they had to find a way for me to transfer command to Riker. So, making my femur come out of my leg is a quick way to do it.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Just visually, something.
So gross.
Yeah. And then you almost drown in your own fluids. They have to.
There's a little bit of that, and I had them put it in my mouth so that when I turned, it would just go. Oh, yeah, I wanted all that. Like Grindhouse, this puppy.
Forgive me. At some point, asshole became a substitute for charm.
In real life, has asshole become a substitute for charm, Todd?
For me?
Not for anyone. Just generally speaking. I'm speaking in terms of someone
for you about me, but I don't know if it is a substitute. It's a shame. Like I hope that I was raised better than that. There's one thing of stating your ground, but there's another thing. I mean, there's something about social media that's like the equivalent of keying someone's car, especially when you don't even have their names attached to it. It's like I'm pickup truck 576. Like, not no offense to people that don't pick up trucks. People don't pick up trucks. I love pickup trucks. But I just mean people you can have your name be not even attacked. You don't even know who's doing it, and they're attacking you, and then it's hit and run. And so you just have to build Teflon against that stuff.
Yeah, I think it's more like asshole is mistaken for charm in certain social medias and in the country more broadly. And it is tough because I know that sort of the anonymity of it should make it not sting so much. And you must get this.
It's the one person not clapping, right? It's the
right.
Yeah, and also. It also, look, I mean, we've built foundations of reality shows on people being antagonistic towards each other, and we thrive on the clickbait of vitriol. Like it's we should speak to higher angels in ourselves. It's like, again, I like, for myself, I am never a critic. I don't love every show I watch or every movie I watch. I will not slam a show. I know how hard it is to make TV and movies, so I will not slam it. I will, over a bourbon, talk about some, I'll get deep in the nerd of it all with my friends, but like I keep that out of the public. And often it's more about how clever the person is insulting the thing that they're, and not actually about valid critique.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's the tribalism online has now extended into sort of what's been known as toxic fandom. And I mean, it's basically guys who insist that we all have to love what they love. And if we don't, we're the enemy. We're taking something away from them.
My buddy Dennis has the great phrase when someone is like, "Oh, you like that?" We just go, "It's like we're two different people."
I'm going to steal that.
It's just the best response. Imagine that. I was getting into it because occasionally I will take the bait with a Star Trek fan who just is not happy with the current state of Trek. And then just will continue to just berate it. And then I go, I just once asked them, are there things that you love that other people don't? And they deflected, and I said, and then I'm like, well, now I'm on it. Are there things that you like that other people don't? Boom, boom, boom. I finally pinned them down, and they answered the question. I said, okay, then. Thank you for your candor, because they answered, yes, there are things that they love that other people don't. I said, thank you for your candor. No more questions.
Yeah, it's really, it's like, how could you not like chocolate? I don't know. I just don't. Or
because
whatever.
I don't actually pick what I like and don't like. I notice it.
Exactly. Exactly.
I notice it.
And it's such a good point, especially since Star Trek. I mean, one of the things a lot of us love it so much is because it's about being better, getting better, striving, not agreeing all the time, but just having a commonality of purpose and, wanting to overcome our limitations and our strife between each other. 100%. So it is a little weird for Star Trek, of all things, to have toxic fandom. But considering it's been this way forever, it has always been challenging our perceptions of society and politics and all that other stuff. Have you always been a Trek person?
Yeah. I like I said, I have the Migos back there. So in 1974, and I've told this story, my cousin Tori, I remember where I was sitting at my Aunt Charlotte's for Christmas night when I open up that box, and there is Kirk and Spock and McCoy. And then the other box had the Enterprise play set.
Oh my God. Look at that.
Wow.
And so my Uncle Joe and my cousin Tori were my shepherds into all things sci-fi. I had my Planet of the Apes Migos, and I had my Star Trek and my superheroes, and then my Uncle Joe is the one who took me to Star Wars. So the seeds of imagining really started early, 5 and 6 years old. And so the joke is, if you had told 6-year-old Todd that someday he would be a Starfleet captain, I would say, yeah, that totally tracks, because I've been pretending to be a Starfleet captain since I was 6. So like, that was always the goal, right? I mean, come on, guys, really? Again, truthfully, who could have imagined that the course of events would lead to this? But the fact that, like, that's all I've ever wanted to do. So it is be Han Solo, is to be Captain Kirk. Like, these are the things, these filled so much of my play, that those seeds, Dungeons and Dragons, those seeds then just whet my appetite for playing characters and telling stories as a grown-ass man.
Do you go through phases? I find myself with these genre things. Like for a few weeks, I'll fall back in love with Star Wars again, and then I'll fall in love with Star Trek, and then it'll be Batman, and then it'll be something from the Marvel universe, maybe, and then Lord of the Rings, and then back to Star Trek, and then back to Star Wars after that. It's this ongoing revolving door of
100%.
affection for all of these things that are so formative for people of our generation.
Agreed. And you know, people talk to me about that. They're like, "You're like a super nerd who's living the dream of it all." And myself and Terry, who, you know, we were kids of the '80s, and these were our influences. We are the children of Lucas and Spielberg, right? So
yeah,
and Cameron and all of that. So we grew up with this stuff. This was the raw material of imagining. So it would only stand to reason that these were the influences that pushed us, and J.J. Abrams, like that pushed us into wanting to be creators ourselves. And so revisiting those things and collecting the toys and whatnot, these are totems of power, right?
Yep.
These are the things that inspire me and lift me up, and I escape into, or I cry over. They're empathy machines. We learn how to cry, we learn how to laugh, and we field test all these emotions. I made a joke yesterday at the Fan Expo that, like, when we were shooting the scene, or when I was watching episode 9 with my wife on the couch, and I'm dying in Jerry's arms, and my wife she's in it, and she's getting all overclamped, and I'm okay. Like, I'm fine. I know the scene, right? So I'm watching it. I'm like, you know, I'm judging it probably. I could have said that better. Whatever. I'm watching it, and then one scene later, when the bay doors open to reveal the Enterprise D, I'm like, oh my god, it's so beautiful, and I am a sobbing puddle of a mess. And she's like, what is wrong with you people?
Right.
She's like, you nerds, you're not crying over your own death, but you're crying at the spaceship. I'm like, you don't understand. This is from the woman who has a Dune tattoo on her arm. So,
See, yeah. In fact, I was saying to Jerry last week on the show that look on her face in that picture while she's playing D&D at your house. There's that one great picture that turned into a meme, right? Of that kind of incredulous look. And I was like, you know what?
To be fair, those were photo opportunities. They were playing for the camera. She had a great night. It's a lot to just jump into, and especially if you're not familiar with those kind of games. She had a great time, and she was a hoot and a blast. And there were moments where she's like, I don't want to tell you how I kill the thing. I just do.
And that's what she said. She's like, wait a minute, I have to make this stuff up.
She's like, I'm not at work. But that being said, it was a ton of laughs, and she was fantastic. But to your earlier issue, cycling through my nerddoms right now, we set up the big the digital projector in the yard because it's so nice out. And we have been going through the Lord of the Rings trilogy again, and they're always there for us. That's why when people are like, these movies killed my childhood because they're not like the movies I grew up with, I'm like, you can just go watch the movies you grew up with.
Yeah, no kidding.
Maybe
or you
these
can broaden your
aren't for
horizons.
Or you can broaden your horizons. But yeah, I mean, like A New Hope to me is a perfect film, and it is always there for me. Not even the special editions, like the 1977 theatrical release will always be there for me. And it will always move me, and I will cry when the throne room music begins or Binary Sunset begins. I'm a puddle. Like they're always there for me. And then yes, I'm a big Batman guy. I'm a big Star Wars kid. Star Trek. I'm a very typical nerd.
Star Wars was such a big epiphany, but was there something before? I mean, you were around, 8 years old when Star Wars came out in 77? So,
yeah.
But was there anything prior to that that
Trek
kind of was your gateway drug and all? Star Trek, right?
Trek and Planet of the Apes. We used to go to
Planet of the Apes, my God.
And the TV series. So we would go to my grandma's, and we would order pizza, which that could have been the evening. But we would order pizza because that's just crack for kids. And I would sit there and I would watch the Planet of the Apes TV series. And I'm like, wow. And we would watch Star Trek reruns because it was in syndication by then. So those were, like I said, those were all the toys that I had. Because again, the Migos came out in '74. So that predates Star Wars by 3 years.
Yeah.
And then the Rankin and Bass Hobbit, but that was also '77. Close Encounters was big for me. Just again, I just like we were saying earlier, I just noticed that I was drawn to genre television and storytelling, fantastical storytelling. And my mother and my parents were absolutely encouraging and supportive of it. Building the pillow forts, like that were Planet of the Apes. It formed my childhood and informed my play.
It really was. I never really thought about it this way until you just mentioned all those amazing movies and shows. It was a golden age of, or not even. It was the kind of like the jet age of sci-fi. I mean, to have, and you throw in the Twilight Zone, and to be a kid who had an imagination and who wanted to look beyond where we were or where one was. It was, I mean, it's not surprising that it's just grown because of the how it informed our childhoods.
And wonderful morality plays.
Yes.
And lessons for kids. So you take Trek, and again, like not blinking that there's a Russian African-American woman on the bridge. Like, and we as kids just go, yeah, like why would that ever be? Because I didn't know politics.
Right.
So I just was watching that going, yeah, that makes sense. Why is that? Didn't seem out of the ordinary to a 6-year-old. And that's the point, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's the point. And so and then Star Wars, great, good versus evil in black and white hats. It's and especially post Vietnam, like the healing balm that all that stuff was. And then Wrath of Khan, which again, I think that might be my favorite Star Trek.
It's stunning.
It's stunning, and the soundtrack.
So
look, I pull a page out of that book.
It's amazing.
Oh my
I
God.
love it.
I'll take that.
Oh.
I spend my life trying to be Bill Murray and Tom Hanks and a little Shatner here, a little Harrison Ford here.
Yeah.
Yeah, along those lines, where would you peg Shaw as a Star Trek archetype? Like, for example, I'll just give you an example of what I'm talking about. You famously auditioned for Saturday Night Live, and one of the things Lorne Michaels likes to do,
or I famously didn't get Saturday Night Live.
That's right. Well, one of the things he likes to do is he likes to categorize everyone who auditions into an archetype of a previous cast member. Like, oh, you're a Billy. Oh, he's a Chevy. And so,
good Lord.
Wow.
Thank you very much.
That's judgy.
Yeah, but how would you see yourself along those lines? I'm talking about Captain Shaw in the Star Trek continuum. Are you a Shatner or are you a Riker? You know what I mean?
That's a great question. This is going to sound. Well, a lot of people compared him to Jellicoe, but I just think that's more in function.
Yeah, I disagree.
But in presentation, and again, so much of this is the credit is to the writers. We haven't seen this guy. Like, he's a Shaw.
Right, absolutely.
Yes. Thank you, because that was going to be my follow-up. I honestly believe that Shaw is brand new to the Star Trek canon.
And part of that is, and there was, I think, articles written about it. He's the first Gen X captain.
Oh,
yeah,
that's right.
Which I'm the driver, so I am Gen X. So he's the first Gen X captain. He's the first, like, over it. Gen X, like, there we go. Okay, do we really have to?
I've been doing this since I was 4.
Keep my head down. I'll let myself in the door because mom and dad are at work. I'm a Gen X captain. And so I think that alone, the Gen X kids that, like myself in the early 90s, that were watching it went, oh, I'm that guy.
Yeah.
I'm not Kirk. I might want. Well, that's what they were saying. They're like, I want to be Picard, but I'm that guy. Like,
do you kind of did it take a Gen X showrunner to make a Gen X captain and have it be so representative of sort of the archetype of that generation?
Well, I think a bunch of Gen X's and you know, like Tarantino and whatnot is postmodernism, right? It is a reflective deconstruction of genre, and Shaw was a reflective deconstruction of Next Generation.
Totally.
Yeah.
Where he, I love you boys, I really do. All your fabulous, equally irresponsible adventures. Like, he was this kind of Greek chorus commenter on them. So going back to what we were saying earlier about Locutus, deep down he knows it wasn't Picard that was killing all of us. It was Locutus. Picard was a hostage. But I think, and I've said this before, I think Shaw saw their cowboy ways as poking the bear that put them in traffic, that got him hit by the board.
Yeah, it's so funny. I thought you were going to say it wasn't Locutus, it was the baby boomers.
Yeah. Okay, boomers.
Something we've talked about on these initial several podcast episodes with both Terry and Jerry is how human civilization gets to the Star Trek future, if at all. I mean, without going through too many catastrophes before we wake up and realize our place in the galaxy, right? How do we get to something like the United Federation of Planets without destroying ourselves in the process?
It's a terrific question. Well, it'll take the Vulcans visiting.
That would help tremendously.
I say that half kidding. I think something to the effect of eventually indisputable proof of sentient life elsewhere suddenly does not make us Americans, South Americans, Africans, Germans. We're Earthlings, right? We are now. They don't see us as these different states. They would see us as a unified species, and then I think that might lead us to doing it. I also think the cataclysms that our planet may be seeing coming down the road might unify us, because we're going to have to go, all right, the water's rising. We're going to have to band together regardless of who we voted for in order for our children and our children's children to have a place to put their feet up. Yeah.
Are you hopeful for humanity? Are you more Shaw about humanity or more Picard about humanity? I'm
a hopeful dude. I'm an optimist. My operating system is happiness. Because happiness is not circumstances and happiness is not a place, because there are people in horrible circumstances that find a way to persevere. Ukraine, like there are ways, like you see the resolve, human resolve. And so I'm an optimist. Again, it's like, what's the Mr. Rogers? Yeah, but look at the people helping. That's big, right? That's big.
Yeah. And that's very Star Trek. Absolutely. I mean, that's, I think, one of the reasons we all, when we were little kids and didn't know anything about politics, like you said earlier, who knows that this is an allusion to Vietnam? I certainly didn't. I was 6. It's that hopefulness, that's that hanging, that teamness.
Agreed.
And being in it together. And I'm with you. If we can figure out how to do that.
Yeah. And yeah, I think I think more people want good in this world than want bad. Obviously, food is the big thing. When people are hungry, things go south, and it's
water.
It's food and water. Yeah, it's us, the life givers.
Yep.
Life-giving stuff. So I think I'm not a cynic. I'm a very, very hopeful dude. Very hopeful dude.
So there's this amazing scene with Shaw explaining the Dominion to Seven. You describe how the changelings require a pot to pour themselves into at night. And Seven asks, pot like cannabis? And then Shaw replies, sadly, no. Does Captain Shaw indulge? Todd Stashwick.
Come on.
That's not a no.
Come on. Yeah, I mean, and Jerry was so like that scene was so fun to shoot because that was such a like a Holmes and Watson scene. Like it was so like we were sleuthing. She's so great. I just want to keep working with Jerry. I just love her. Yeah. But she was just so like it was the Law and Order scene. It was the procedural. We were in a procedural drama in that moment. It was like, what about this? And we were kind of sleuthing our way through. I just want to.
Well, now Captain Shaw is my favorite captain. Absolutely. I'm not saying that because you're sitting here. I'm saying that because of your answer just now. And I can assure you, Captain Jellicoe does not have a bong in his ready room. So let's eliminate those comparisons now.
No, that is a false comparison.
That's very funny.
All right. Well, this, Todd, was amazing. Thank you for spending so much time with us. Thank you for becoming such an integral part of this phenomenal universe that is Star Trek, and for adding so much to it.
I mean, look, we are only as good as the people we get to work with, and I was given such a gift to work with those amazing humans and the amazing writing by Terry and the writers. It's just like every once in a while you get one, you know, and you hopefully you do it justice. So I really appreciate your kind words. Thank you.
Well,
thank you so much, Todd, and thank you for the riches. I just got to tell you that it's one of those things. It's just such a bummer that timing didn't work out better for it.
Yeah, it was the last writer's strike that killed it. Yeah.
Killed a lot of things.
By the way, two things, and then I'll get out of your hair. Two things. The bridge of the Titan was the same soundstage as the Malloy House. So where I would drive to work, it was the same exact drive to work and the same walk into work. And then a few weeks back, my phone rings, and it was a London exchange, and I thought my friend Hannah was calling me, and it was Eddie, who.
Oh wow.
She is a huge Star Trek fan. And she was like, I'm watching this, and my friend Todd is doing this amazing job. And I'm thinking, I could just call him. And Eddie.
That's so great.
Eddie called me to just gush about Star Trek. And I didn't know they were that big of a Star Trek fan.
That's incredible.
We're everywhere. We Star Trek fans.
There was a band back in the 70s called Big Star that just suffered from horrible timing. It was an amazing band led by this guy, Alex Chilton, an incredible couple of albums. And they just dropped at the wrong time. And it's such a pisser, but you can still watch the riches on streaming. I forget exactly. It may be Amazon Prime. I'm not sure.
I think it's on Hulu.
Hulu. Okay. Yeah, that's it. That's exactly it. And so
if you want the greatest example of unresolved viewing.
It's like Freaks and Geeks.
It literally ends on a cliffhanger.
Yes. The
like,
neighbor
bye!
discovers. Yeah, right. Oh,
it reminds me of this great story we were watching. When I was in college, I was watching Beauty and the Beast, and there's this moment where the last petal like falls off the rose, and then he goes, "It's hopeless," and it goes to black, and this little kid in front of me goes, "Is it over, Mommy?"
Childhood crushed.
Could you imagine?
God,
It's hopeless.
Yeah, right.
Bye, everybody.
Okay, as advertised, that was amazing.
Yeah, and we kind of got a scoop at the end, maybe from Captain Shaw himself about the pot on the Titan A. Who knows whether, I mean, he kind of left it open-ended, but he didn't deny it. So
he didn't, and one can only imagine that it's if you're into that sort of thing, it's very fun. So have a great couple of weeks, and we will see you soon.